Welcome back to the Next Human Lab podcast. I'm Simon, really glad you're here. And as always, I'm joined by Luna, my thoughtful partner in these conversations.
Hi everyone. Simon, before we started recording today, I was thinking about something interesting. Have you ever noticed how two people can live in the same environment, face the same situation, but experience completely different realities?
Yes, and most people assume the difference is luck, personality, or circumstances. But very often, the difference is attention. What we pay attention to shapes what grows in our lives. And that's exactly what today's episode is about. Attention is creative energy. Where focus goes, results grow.
We hear the phrase focus matters all the time, but people usually interpret it as productivity advice, like staying concentrated on a task.
That's the surface level. But attention is far more powerful than simple concentration. Attention is the gatekeeper of your mental environment. What you repeatedly focus on begins to shape your thoughts, your emotions, your expectations, your decisions. And over time, those decisions shape outcomes. So attention becomes the quiet architect of your life. Let's bring in a bit of psychology here. Your brain constantly receives an enormous amount of information every second, but it can't process everything. So it filters. It prioritizes what seems important based on where your attention goes repeatedly. For example, if you start thinking about buying a certain type of car, suddenly you see that car everywhere. The cars were always there, but your attention made them visible. The same mechanism operates in life opportunities. When your attention trains toward solutions, growth, and responsibility, you start noticing possibilities. When your attention trains toward problems, blame, and fear, you notice limitations.
This connects perfectly with the last episode about identity, because what we pay attention to affects how we see ourselves.
Exactly. Identity is shaped partly by repeated self-observation. If your attention constantly focuses on past mistakes, you begin to see yourself as someone who fails. If your attention focuses on progress and learning, you begin to see yourself as someone who grows. Your attention becomes the lens through which identity forms, and identity then shapes behavior. There's another layer here. Human attention naturally gravitates toward problems. It's part of survival wiring. But if left unmanaged, this creates a negative attention loop. For example, someone focuses constantly on what's wrong in their work environment. Slowly, their motivation drops. Their behavior becomes reactive. Eventually, their performance reflects that focus. And then the negative outcome reinforces the original attention pattern. Focus becomes a self-fulfilling cycle.
I've noticed something similar when people try to improve habits. If someone constantly focuses on how hard the habit feels, they lose energy quickly. But if they focus on small improvements, even tiny wins, they stay motivated.
Yes, attention directs emotional energy. Emotion fuels action. Action shapes results. So attention is not neutral, it's generative. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest challenges of modern life: distraction. Our attention today is constantly pulled in multiple directions. Notifications, news cycles, social media, comparison. Each fragment of attention weakens depth. And without depth, meaningful creation becomes difficult. Imagine trying to grow a plant by watering it for 1 second every hour. Growth requires sustained attention. The same applies to goals, relationships, and personal development. Here's a helpful way to think about it. Attention works like investment capital. Where you invest it consistently, growth happens. If someone invests attention in learning and improvement, skill grows. If someone invests attention in resentment and comparison, frustration grows. Attention compounds over time. Just like money invested in the right direction compounds.
This explains something interesting. Sometimes when people commit deeply to a goal, opportunities seem to appear more frequently.
Exactly. Not because the world suddenly changed, but because their attention sharpened. When attention sharpens, you recognize connections, resources, timing, collaboration opportunities. Things that previously passed unnoticed. Attention increases awareness. Awareness increases intelligent action. Let's give something practical. Ask yourself 3 questions today. What topic receives most of my daily attention? Is that attention helping or weakening my goals? What deserves more attention from me starting today? Then choose one simple focus shift. For example, spend more attention on learning rather than complaining, or more attention on solutions rather than obstacles. Small attention shifts create powerful long-term changes. Momentum comes from consistent direction. If attention jumps constantly between unrelated concerns, momentum breaks. But when attention stays aligned with a meaningful goal, actions become more coherent. Energy stops leaking. Progress becomes smoother. That's why focused people often seem calm. Their energy is not scattered. Attention is one of the most valuable resources you possess. But unlike money or time, most people give it away freely to random information, to unnecessary comparison, to distractions that produce no meaningful growth. The moment you begin protecting your attention, life starts to change. Because what you feed with attention grows.
So identity provides the foundation. Attention directs the energy. But what happens when someone wants success for mixed reasons?
That's exactly where we're going next. Next episode, the integrity factor, why mixed motives cancel results. We'll talk about why conflicting intentions weaken creation. Your attention is creative energy.
Where focus goes, results grow.
So guard your attention carefully because it quietly builds your future. We'll see you in the next Human Lab podcast.